Alright, so I just had to stop and get a shot of this because I'm completely out of room and I haven't even finished assembling both pieces yet. The bottom piece over there is hanging off the side. This is like a 32 by 48 table, and this thing is just a monster. I thought that maybe two of them would be reasonable. No chance. This is the only one I'm getting. So I'll have to make it count for lots of different stuff. So let me go and finish taping this together, and I'll be back in a second. So here's just a quick look at the inner engineering. There's double tabs at each segment, same as down here, and then this will connect to the bottom. It's too bad, well, I don't know if it'd be better if the top and bottom seams were offset or just matched up as they are. So there's a fairly steep angle on here overall. This definitely needs lots of buttressing. So this is fairly flimsy. I'm sure it'll tighten up once it's on the bottom and it's fully assembled. But it's so huge that it can't help but be flimsy. And one of the complaints about the model is the profile isn't exactly right. Well, I think when you're putting huge plastic like this together, then you gotta account for some errors at some point. So let me put the halves together and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so I had to get all the way up by the ceiling here with the camera to show what's really going on. It's a 30-inch table, that's a 28-inch model. The Captain Cardboard Klingon D7 was this big too, but it wasn't a disc, and this is just monstrously huge. So you recognize the 350 Polar Lights Enterprise there in the middle. So that should give you a good idea of what size this kit is looking at. This is probably just a little too huge. So 28 inches, maybe just 24 would have been really good. This is 1/72 scale, so I don't know what 24 would bring it down to. However, the size of this thing it's just unbelievable. I really have no idea how or where to store this, but I really want to build it, that's for sure. So the clear glass dome gives off some interesting effects. It'd definitely be nice to build one like this with clear dome on top, but at this size there's just no way that can happen. So these seams are going to be pretty horrible to get rid of, that's a fact. Definitely more of the plastic modeling going on the outsides as well as the insides. As I mentioned, there's these little dimples all around that have to be shaved down. Not shaved, of course, but definitely sanded away. Now, I was kind of surprised at this profile because when you put the two halves together, it starts to make the shape. But I just didn't think it was quite so trim. So for a minute or so, I was thinking maybe there was an interior way to build it up. I'll pull the center out of there and see what can happen, but essentially this should be pretty close overall. So this is the only time I'm going to have this dome out. I'm going to go and wrap this up. This has an interesting fit. You can't quite set it so you can pull this out, but this center area goes away, and then there's two panels there. I don't know if these ceilings can be removed. Probably not, so there'll be no way to get shots of that. So that's definitely a good reason to build that as a separate entity. And I probably sealed those two parts in there. So give me a second here and we'll cut to that video now. So yes, this is just about the profile it builds to. These two stands in here sit on two little pegs set up on each landing well, and that gives it a lot of stability overall. So this is definitely, well, certainly crushable, but it's fairly well set. There will probably be some flexing all around the edges though, so I may still do some kind of interior buttressing. These seams are definitely going to be hell. Getting these filled up and even to the surface that's there without damaging the surface is going to be really push my skills. This is definitely going to be a fun challenge in that regard. Never mind getting the actual edge seams to line up and get those smooth. So I don't think I could, well, yeah, it looks like I can easily flip this over, at least without too much difficulty there. Let me grab a landing leg. So here it is with one of the legs in, and you can see right off the bat, obviously that's just sitting there. However, getting those seams to match and make it invisible, that's going to be really tough. But like I said a minute ago, this is definitely going to push my skills, and that even more so right there. So for being such a simple saucer disc, this is really a phenomena in itself. So I don't know that there's much more to say. It's a really big box, really big parts, really big model. So I think this is going in the $70, $80 range. And if you got that kind of cash to get something that's truly monstrous, and I'd pretty much say very well worth it. So that's it. Catch you later. See ya.